Hello, everyone, and welcome to another United Soybean Board Checkoff Chat. I'm Kellen Havikin with the Brownfield Ag Network, and today Matt Gass, a farmer director from North Dakota and Supply Action Team Chair, is with us. Matt, thank you so much for the time and welcome. Well, Matt, let's talk today. We're talking about 2024 and right within your wheelhouse with USB, with supply investments. And just before we maybe look at 2024, wrap up 2023 for us.
Yeah, the United Soybean Board, it is 77 volunteer farmer leaders that work on behalf of all U.S. soybean farmers to help achieve, maximum value on our investments. We invest in education, research, and promotion of U.S. soybeans. And in 2023, fiscal year 23, farmer leaders on USB approved $123 million for investments. That anywhere can be from innovation technology, health and nutrition, and infrastructure and connectivity are the three main priority areas that we really focus on. And we got our communications side of that as well. But this is the second year of our new funding process. We created the value alignment committee, kind of shifted things around, and it really allowed the farmers to go from being project takers to project makers. Instead of just stuff coming in and yay or nay, we like it or we don't. It kind of come to we had to, kind of use our heads a little bit to, really understand what areas farmers wanted. Nobody knows best what soybean farmers want than soybean farmers. And so I think it really has helped us come up with some new ideas, some new areas we want to focus on. And it's really been a good process. Now in the second year, it's been a lot easier this time around.
Matt, let's take a look at 2024 and what those investments look like. And it looks, there's about three main areas. The first one will be innovation and technology. Talk about what are we looking at when we invest in that area for USB?
Innovation technology on the supply side is investing in the production of soybeans, to meet the demands of the future through improvements, new uses, new technology. We want to produce and expand our opportunities that are based on the market's needs, from feed and food to even non-food consumer products. There's a lot of things, plywood that can be found at Home Depot that is made with soy-based products. Goodyear tires has the soybean oil in it. Skechers is now teamed up with Goodyear, and Skechers shoes has that same soybean oil in the soles of their shoes. And so there's all kinds of things that we're really focused on besides just feed and food. Sinlon, another turf company, also uses that in there. So we're constantly trying to find new avenues, new ways to invest the money of U.S. soybean farmers. Currently the current value is, for every dollar a farmer puts into the Checkoff program, they get $12.34 back return on investment.
Talk about some of the programs, like looking at weeds and some of the tools and technology there, and other things that farmers are looking at with the Checkoff funds.
Yeah, we're investing in different areas to help farmers with tools and technologies to help manage weeds. Weeds are always becoming resistant. So, that's a big thing to help continue to maximize yield, maximize profit. At the end of the day, that's what we're looking to give back to the soybean farmers, 515,000 U.S. soybean farmers, is to give them, maximize their profit and their yield. We're discovering new biologicals to grow healthier soybeans, and the potential for biologicals to help soybeans combat weeds and even allow for farmers to get into the fields for earlier planting dates. Investing in tools that help improve genetics quicker, whether that be a GMO soybean varieties or high pH. There's always new things coming up that we got to be aware of and work around. And that's another thing, is we try and invest and help these things along the way to ensure that farmers have access to affordable technology to help them remain sustainable and profitable. I think that's a big thing. If some of this stuff is too expensive, it's not going to be used by the farmers, and so we have to really ensure that their investments are really helping them, get their money out of the Checkoff and get their return on investment back as much as possible.
Matt, another area that the United Soybean Board focuses on is health and nutrition. What about investments under this umbrella for 2024? are going to help farmers and also consumers?
Yeah, health and nutrition on the supply side. We're investing in growing soybeans to meet the future needs of plants and the soil, the health and nutrition of it. Improve the plant nutrition by utilizing some of the tools that we help fund, invest in, stuff like that. Looking into 2024, we're focusing on programs that have real commercialization implications for U.S. soybean farmers, help them get new products, new solutions in the field quicker. That kind of, especially specifically when it comes to disease and pest resistance. That's becoming a big thing. We got so many different varieties, or so many different modes of action with soybean plants, and so that's something that we need to continue to stay on the forefront of. Focus on abiotic stress and how to produce a more resilient beans that can stand up, in any type of condition, any type of soil. That's become a real important thing. Drought and heat, as we've noticed the last couple of years, nobody's had a real good growing season, and so to invest in technology, in the research for the health and nutrition of the plants to be able to withstand the drought, or if they stand in water a little longer, that becomes a big thing at the end of the day for the farmers. We want to continue to research nutrients and herbicides. And there's all kinds of stuff that we're continuing to have to go along with, as far as investing in new research. Pests, slugs, things like that are things that we continue to that we see more and more of. So we're continuing to invest in areas like that and focusing on areas like that.
Matt, as a farmer yourself, you mentioned a little about disease resistance and issues there, along with some of the weather challenges. Being from North Dakota, we were talking about some of the extreme temperatures that you're going to be having. I'm curious, how does this kind of looking into these areas, and how does that impact your operation as a farmer?
Well, you got to be smart on your decision making. I guess you got to know your ground. You got to know where to put certain things. You just got to know the lay of the land. And I think it's really important that we do have all these options, all these, different types of, whether extend flex, enlist soybeans. I think, it's nice to have all those things and to continue to invest in these areas. Up here, it just depends. I mean, you get rain, you don't get rain. It's hot, 2 years are alike. So it's really, really important to stay on top of things and just check your fields and be able to know what's out there. Because some years you might have aphids, you might not have them for 3 or 4 years. It just depends on the growing season. Other years you might have caterpillars. So it's really important that we have these, the varieties are able to stand up, when they do get under pressure from those such things.
Matt, one of the last areas USB is focusing on is infrastructure and connectivity. Tell me more about what 2024 looks like for USB here.
Yeah, we're investing infrastructure and connectivity, in the ability for farmers to connect to markets, information. We want to, there's projects such as the Lock and Dam 25. USB has invested money out at the Pacific Northwest, out of Grace Harbor out there. Continually want to have avenues for farmers to get their beans out, because we can grow them all, but if we can't send them anywhere, it doesn't do us any good. So it's, that each part is just as important as the other to really, move beans, whether it's growing them, the health of them, or, the technology of just the seed. Some areas that we're looking into in 2024, identify gaps and improve efficiency in transporting soybeans, soybean meal and soybean oil, water infrastructure. We all know what it was like last year on the Mississippi when the water got real low. That was a real big problem for a lot of people. Even if you don't send soybeans down the Mississippi, it impacts you, because they might be going to get, other countries might be going to get soybeans from somewhere else. And so at the end of the day, that it does affect, the bottom dollar for farmers that may not necessarily send them down there. So we got to really look at areas to help everyone. Another one I talked about was expand the lock and dam number 25. We got to take that effort and put that to other locks that need improvements as well, because they're all vital in helping us move those soybeans. Explore the opportunity to use the St. Lawrence Seaway to move beans from the upper Midwest, specifically as we can see an increase in domestic crush. Where I'm at in North Dakota here, we're usually the number one exporter of whole soybeans in the United States. And that dynamics, I can see shifting here quite a bit. We used to have 0 crushing facilities in the state. And now we are going to have 3 of them coming online here in the next few years. The first one comes on I believe this harvest. And that one's only 25 minutes from me. And so that's going to change the dynamic of where the shift of beans go. And so I think, having the rail system and having avenues to ship the meal or the oil that's going to be used to make biofuel, stuff like that, it's all vital to help do that. We want to identify unserved areas for people to have research impact, and that internet has on agriculture. You would think that's a technology thing, but that's an infrastructure thing, getting people to get the broadband and stuff they need. It's a bigger problem out there than people realize.
Matt, when you look at infrastructure from a whole, so including railroads, roads just in general, the waterways, where's the trend? I mean, we're talking, where do you see that headed? Are we seeing more investments? Are we seeing that improve with all of the money that's been spent on that here recently, whether at the local, state, or federal level?
Yeah, like on the Lock and Dam 25, I know, I can't remember the exact numbers of it, but it allowed for it to carry, I don't know if it was a third more or twice as much freight because of that, because without that improvement, they would not have been able to bring that big cargo containers down the Mississippi. Well, if they can carry twice as much, in one less trip, that's really increasing the value of the bean. The basis level is going to be up. So I think things like that are really important. Ensuring that we have areas out in the PNW to send out, the beans out that way, whether it be meal, whether it be whole soybeans, whatever it may be. I think everything's vital into, it all kind of goes together to really go to one, to mesh, to make the whole return on investment thing very important to everyone.
You also mentioned the addition of soybean crushing facilities coming online, specifically in your state. One thing that stood out to me, I mean, we talk about this thing from a whole about how that adds more value back to your soybean, but you're you said 25 miles or so away from one that's supposed to come online here. So from a big picture, walk me through the supply chain and how vital all of this is to you as a farmer to make sure that you have a crushing facility, you have soybeans that can be profitable based on other things we talked about in this USB checkoff chat, and the ability to get it there efficiently.
Yeah, it's important. Each of these soybean crushing facilities that are coming into the state, I know that it's going to come from other states. There's going to be some rail, brought in. It's because I don't think it's possible to every farmer deliver them to these 3 facilities. But if in a perfect world, if these 3 facilities took every bushel of soybeans to fill them, it would use every bushel in the state of North Dakota. Each facility would take 1/3 of the state's production. I mean, to go from where we were to being the number one exporter of whole soybeans, but it also allows for the basis level to improve. You're probably going to see some farmers putting up some extra storage to put their soybeans in, to be able to haul their soybeans to these facilities through the non-busy times of the year, the wintertime, the summertime, where typically most farmers now, they just haul their beans directly to your local elevator, during planting season. And so I think you'll see that dynamic change a little bit. It just allows farmers to be a little more competitive, I would say. Another thing, you might see some of these areas now with these crushing facilities, high oleic soybeans has become a big thing. Frito-Lay uses it in some of their chips. It's being used for other uses. And so biodegradable plastics, it's being used. And so I think it's a big opportunity that if we can get these facilities and then be able to take the high oleic soybeans there, if they eventually take them down the road, those are all opportunities for local farmers to have a big return on investment.
That's been another USB Checkoff chat here on Brownfield. Matt Gast, a USB Farmer Director from North Dakota and Supply Action Team Leader. Matt, hey, appreciate it so much. Thank you for the time and great conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. Once again, thanks for joining us on our USB Checkoff chat on Brownfield. I'm Kellen Havikin with Brownfield Ag News.